Well, hello, good afternoon, and welcome once again to the Road Boy Sound. I am the Road Boy, DJ Paul, up top there, and the Spurs sound off. Below there, you will find, yeah, right there, right, you see right there, formation versus tactics. And I'm not going to show Ange today. I know that I have been, you know, putting my Ange face up there, but I'm actually doing this video right after the Nottingham Forest game. And so there's actually no need to go through that Forest game. I'm going to stick to the original plan. I'm going to make a video which is all about what we are doing. I think I'm hissing a little bit. Let me see if I can turn down my. I need some of my top end. Yeah, to come out. Oh, yeah, that sounds better. Yeah. Sounds much better. Much better in my ear. Okay, so here's the deal. We're talking about a formation here, and consistently, just for Spurs, we're going to play a 4-1-2-3, maybe. Lately, we have gone to a 4-2-1-3, and that's about it for formation. There's no variation in whether we're going to go to a back three or anything like that. I feel like I'm echoing. I feel like I'm hearing double in my ear. Let me turn this down and check my settings. But I'm going to continue the video. And so we continue to use just about the same formation. And when you're in that formation, you can either drop back into a 4-2-1-3 if you started out with a 4-1-2-3, or you can do it the other way if you're playing with a 4-2-1-3. Doesn't make a difference, personnel matter. And so when you look at the personnel that are available, you're talking about Bentancur, Sarr, and Bissouma. And now I see Archie Gray dropping back in there, which I'm getting a little impressed with him. His overall movements on the pitch. That's the first thing I try to look at to gauge whether or not a player actually belongs. And you can see that with Archie Gray, you can see that with Bergval, that they actually belong. Them being in a system that is designed for them to improve and progress, I still don't know about that. But today is not that conversation. The conversation really relies around whether or not our formation, right, is good enough for the tactics that we play, or does the tactics, right, support the formation, right? So I'm going to throw system in there just to start. So we play an attacking system. Front foot football, that's a system. And we play it out of a formation of either a 4-1-2-3 or a 4-2-1-3. That's it. And so when I hear people start talking about, wait for this and wait for that, and Andrew doesn't have the players, we're going to just debunk that right off the bat. We're not talking about whether or not he has quality, right? He's responsible for the quality that's out there, and therefore it is supposed to be a moot point. We're not going to get into that discussion. It's a waste of time, right? So if you're playing, in this instance, you're playing a 4-2-1-3, and your defensive alignment is supposed to have that shape wherein you have two at the back, right? Two central defender, two wide fullbacks, and your two holding mid in front of you. Because you're an aggressive team, then chances are you're going to switch in your attack to a 4-1-2-3, which is okay because now you have a midfielder who is starting further down the field. So now he can move up and he can read the play. So you're probably going to drop your number 8 down, have your number 10 up top, and then you can go in and join the play. Likewise, when you on defense, you can drop the number 8 down and it comes next to the number 6. And so now you have protection for the back two. But wait a minute. What are you talking about, rude boy? We don't play like that. So we actually don't play like that. We put a formation out there, but we don't play to the formation. Is it a formation or is it a tactic? Is it a formation, tactic, or a system? Let's eliminate the system because we all know that the system is geared for attacking football. We're a front foot, high flying, high octane, kamikaze type of football team. That's how we play. And so when you give the ones who are making the excuses for Ange all of that, you said, okay, fine. What's your results? Your results are you now lose 9 games, you drawn 2, and you won 7. There's a big disparity, right? With your 7, you have less of the ball, you score more goals, and you win more games. Okay, so now when you have more of the ball, you gave up more chances, you have greater possession, and you lose the game. You actually drew 2. So, do you see why the tactics in the formation and the system needs to be adjusted? Because you're going from one dynamic to the other. You're actually with less possession, scoring more, and with more possession, you are losing more and actually scoring less. So, how do you scout that? How do you reconcile that there is a big gap, a cavern between the two? It's not the two system, the tactics that is deployed within the system. Now, my suggestion is that keep your formation, right? Keep your formation. We're not talking about injuries either. It's irrelevant. And I'll tell you why it's irrelevant before I get to what I really want to say. It is irrelevant because if you build on something, if you have a foundation wherein this is how your shape is going to be, then that is how you're going to play defense. You're going to always fall back into that shape. And then, therefore, when you fall back into that shape, you can look at 2 things. Whether the players that are coming in because you have injuries are good enough to play in there, or the system is definitely not going to work. And so we're doing neither. So we can't judge the caliber of the player. We can't judge whether that system will work. And we can't put it on injuries because when we had the full complement of the squad, we were basically doing the same thing. And so let's get back to the whole thing that we're talking about, the tactics. If you continue to push up into the other opposition with 8 and 9 men, right? And it breaks down, right? And over the 10 games to 11 games, well, 15 games if you want to throw the entire ball of wax in there. And you look at when we lose the ball and where we lose the ball. And where is the defensive line? I understand this high line. I'm going to give that to you, right? I'm going to give that to you to take the complications out of everything, right? And so when you look at when you're attacking, what is the purpose of having your entire team in the opposition half if they're not contributing to the build-up? Because number one, your fullbacks are so high, so integrated into the offense that even when you pull the ball out, you can't make a pass to them. You have to go back to either the central defender or all the way back to your goalkeeper because you have neither your number 6 or your 2 fullbacks to be able to rotate the ball. It always have to go all the way back. And even then, you have to now back up, right, to be able to have space. And even then, your fullbacks are not coming back. And so they all get caught up field. And what you have happening, 10 players, a ball that play through, you have 10 players, 10 Tottenham players facing their own goal consistently. Oftentimes, the team either have to miss or they score. So easy. You cannot play a system or tactically so open, so void of any shape that you can't defend from the middle of the pitch. I mean, midfield. We can't defend from there. And so we continue to do it. That's neither formation nor system. That's just bad tactics. And so, just talking about that, what does the manager do? He's not going to change because his system is most important in relation to his formation and his tactics, because he's not going to bend it where he's going to say, hey, look, if I go into a 4-2-1-3 formation, I'm showing the opposition something. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use my front three and my number 10, and I'm going to show you a token press. When you token press, it means now you can come back and get into a defensive shape where your fullback is wide on the right and the left. Your midfielders are coming down in the middle, and you have your two center backs. You're actually defending with 6. And so if you don't do that, Mark, you're not going to get good at it. But if you're doing it, I can see it, the world can see it, that you're actually in a defensive shape, but you're actually not good enough. The players that you have are not good enough to play in the defensive shape, or they're not good enough individually as defenders to be able to hold up their end of the bargain. So you see what I'm saying? If you don't have that, and you keep giving up goals, and you said, oh, the players are not good enough, or the players are injured. Players not good enough and injured has zero to do with a defensive shape. Like I said before, you can get into that defensive shape, right? And a lot of things can happen to you, each man covering for the other. If their fullbacks are looking over, and when they look over, they're not seeing, okay, the midfielder, then they're too high. If your center backs, right, are looking over and there's a void, your fullbacks are too high. It's as simple as that. If your midfield is coming back and is not coming between the two central defenders, then they're too close. If he's coming back and he's not stopping partially to make sure that he covers them, then they're too wide. So there's a lot of things that happen. You can't play out from the back. Let me say this with some emphasis. I'm not saying that don't play out from the back. You want the possession. But when you have teams that are sitting and they're not going to engage until you reach the top of their third, right? And then you are slowly passing it around. And by the time you get over the half line from the opposition token press, they're not going all out in the press, because all they're doing, this is what they're doing. They are giving you the token press to give their defense enough time to set up, because they're going to play 4 across the back and whatever else they're doing in the middle. So at all times, they're going to have 4 across the back. And so all they're doing is asking whoever is in front the back line to now fall into place while we keep pinging it around. What happened with that? Udogi gets impatient, he darts up in the offense. Power gets impatient, or Spence gets impatient, and by the time it all work out, we pass the ball to Dragusin or Romero or Van de Ven, and they take off dribbling. When you realize what's going on, you have a team that's sitting, waiting for you, and we have 9 men in the attack. Plain as day. You lose the ball on the top of the opposition 18, they counterattack, you have 70% possession, and you're down by 1. Does that make any sense? How many times are we going to see that movie? How many times are we going to get countered attack? How many times teams are going to sit in? I can tell you how many teams can do that. 10 or 11. And we have lost 9 and drawn 2. And if we're not using the manager, that is, like I said, I'm not going to display his mug today. If the manager and the team don't see that we have acres of space, line too high, we are counterattack with 70%, well, we're averaging somewhere in the region of 65%, 65% possession, and we're down on the board. That is consistent with every game that we lost. That is absolutely consistent with every game we lost. So there is no way that I'm going to sit here and analyze a loss because it is happening the same way. It's useless even in a win to analyze the win because it is happening the same way. We are winning, but we are giving up many chances. We are losing because the teams are taking their chances the same way we were giving up those chances when we were winning. And it has not stopped. It will not stop because the manager decides that come what may, he's going to not change. He's going to stay with what he has. And if the offense is not working, then nothing is working and we're going to lose. That is what the manager has settled, and that's what he has told us. Or if he didn't say that altogether, then I can interpret nothing else from that he's going to sacrifice everything on the offense to make sure that he gets a result which is going against him consistently. And now we are up to 9. And he's not going to change. And we have fans. Let me say this. Root for your team. Support your team the way you want to. But when you engage me in a conversation, do not bring the bullshit to me. Don't tell me that the players are not good enough. Don't tell me the manager needs time. Don't tell me about the injuries, because all of that has nothing to do with tactics. Tactics has no time, has no quality, has nothing to do with all the stuff that you guys are talking about. Has done it before. If you're not doing it now, if you're not showing me a tactical shape, if you're not showing me a defensive posture, if you're not showing me that this is the way we are going to attack and this is the way we are going to defense, I can tell you, you keep your bullshit to yourself. That's as mild as I would get, because I get into these conversations and people are telling me, oh, we have 3 players out. We have this guy out and we have that guy out, and wait until they come back. It has nothing to do with who is out. You can go to the academy and set them up. You could play the kids who are sitting on the bench and say, this is the way we are going to play. And you could go out and get Neymar, Mbappe, PK, and Skriniar. Which other defender can I talk about? You know, the guy from Juventus, which I like, Cellini. You know, who else? Gosh, I could go all the way back. If you have Franz Beckenbauer, you can't play like that and expect to win. Consistently, that is. Because you cannot, should not be there looking at your team. And on so many occasions, all 10, listen to me, listen to what I'm saying. All 10 of our players consistently are facing their own goal. Oh my God. And I have people telling me, oh, you just on Facebook talking about this and, you coach. And I said, I don't have to coach, even though I did. And I played. But even as a fan, and I know just a little bit about football, that what I'm looking at is not football. And if you notice, every video I do or I've done, I refuse to blame the players because I have not seen in all the games that we have played where the manager is putting the players consistently in a position where they can be judged. I can't judge whether A or B is good enough for the position that they're playing. You know their quality individually, but it's whether or not they can execute that as a team. They have to have some quality. That's why they're here. But when you put all of that together, right, and you don't organize it or manage it, you're not offering them much as the manager. So for those who want to curse me out on Facebook, good luck to you. You're going to lose 17 or 18 games this year because you're waiting for the manager to get to be backed, and you're waiting for the injuries to come back, and you're waiting for everything to happen except that the manager is not employing anything tactical or managing the team so that the team can get better. So good luck to you. Peace. I'm out of here.